Yeah, here comes from Dragon Run.
My name is Ren,
Yeah.
and I'm from Dragon Dawn Productions.
Production. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about Verdun.
Verdun.
Verdun is the First World War game. It's a game that is explaining why war of attrition is really a terrible thing. It's a trick-taking game specifically for 2 players and 4 players.
Yeah.
You are playing battle between the Germans and the French.
Yeah. Yes. You love trick-taking game, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I really like trick-taking games. In this game, we have German cards and French cards.
Yeah.
We are shuffling all the cards and evenly dealing those cards between the players. So in the end, you will have both German and French cards, regardless which side do you play.
Yeah.
So you will have to play your hand out. Let's assume that I would be French player, and I would still need to play these at one time.
Yeah.
What we are doing here is that we always play 4 cards on a trick. So 2-player game, each side plays 2 cards, one by one.
Yeah.
On 4-player game, everyone plays 1 card, and then we calculate what is the sum. So for instance, if we would have 3 cards on this one, this would be 7 plus 5, so 15 on German side and 3 on the French side. Obviously, the Germans would win this push.
Yeah.
But if this was a French against the German troops, that would not be very helpful for either side. What happens now is that the winning side will lose their smallest card, so this guy,
Yeah.
and the French card who were losing, they would lose their biggest card. So these would go for the casualties. These are negative points. And whoever played the highest card would get a tactical card. These tactical cards are giving some special benefits that you can play at the same time as you play a card. So you could play both of these, for instance, on the next turn. Obviously, each card is there only once. So we are going to see quite a different kind of battles. We play all the cards.
Yeah.
What you want to achieve is these assets. That's the only way to get any positive points. On almost every occasion, this game ends so that both sides have negatives. So it's a question of how do you lose a little bit less than your opponent, which I think is tactical, which is like thematically because, well, in a war there are rarely actual winners.
So
Yep. So this gives plus 3 points. Let's take a look. So this one gives plus 3 points. You are maybe wondering what are these?
Yeah.
These are fortifications. This would give, for instance, plus 0 points on top of the cards.
Yeah.
You know only the things that are on your own side. So for instance, when I'm playing French, I would have no idea what is in here. But the German player would know what is in here and which of these things are worth of defending. There are up to 1 to 7 stars on this asset. So this is kind of like middle level,
Yeah.
a little bit less than middle on the worth of defending. And it has the worst possible fortress. This number is added into your total.
Yeah.
And if you are having higher total in the end after this is revealed, then you are actually winning.
Yeah.
So this is a fairly deterministic trick-taking game. There is very little luck, but quite a lot of thinking that you need to do in order to play. It takes about half an hour to play, and as I said, 2 to 4 players.
Okay.
Here we have Golem Run. Golem Run is a trick-taking game,
Yeah.
but it's also a racing game and a gambling game.
Yeah.
So what you are doing here is that you are trying to predict influence that which golem is going to be closest to the victory point, well, the finish line at the time when the first player runs out of cards. You start with 12 cards. The cards suit white, which matches the gray golem, blue, which matches the blue golem, black, which is the wild card, orange, where do we find orange? Orange, that is obviously for the orange golem. So you use 3 of these cards to make your bet. Okay, this is what is going to happen. You place these face down.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, I need to place it face up because you wouldn't see otherwise. So my prediction would now be that the orange golem is going to win with a distance of 2. The green pips are defining that what's the distance that I predict that they are, that's going to happen. This is what I think you have here in the middle.
Yeah.
This is what I think that the player in here would. Remember, this is 3 to 5 player game, so there is always players on your left and right.
Yeah.
So how do you know this at the beginning of the game? Well, you don't know that at the beginning of the game, but you can always modify this. So this is a trick-taking game, so if you would lead with a blue 2, I could play the same thing.
Yeah.
Mine would be better because it's later. I could also play a little bit bigger, like this. The next player could play a wildcard 6. Wildcard 6 is clearly higher, so then this would win.
Yeah.
So the blue golem would now move. This player in here would define that blue golem is going to move 2 steps.
Yeah.
There are 2 green pips, this one and that one. So the distance that would be moved is 2. If there is a black card in play, you can either go forward or backward. But if there is no black cards in play, you always have to move forward. As this player might have blue card here in the middle, it could be useful for him to go forward. We don't know, because we don't know what his gambling bet is. We play until first player runs out of cards, then we reveal these. And for each color that matches, you get 2 points. And when the distance is correct, you get as many points as the distance indicates. This game takes about 30 minutes to play, and it's like available in French, German, and English. We actually have a Korean rulebook coming, so hopefully we will soon have a Korean rulebook as well.
Oh, pretty good.
As you can see, the game board is built on tiles, so you can make always a different kind of game board. We have more components in here, so there is like a possibility of the rebuilding to anything you like. These are 2-sided, sides are different, so it will allow you to have very different kind of tracks. So that's how it goes. The most typical mistake for players is to assume that you are running with one golem. But that's not the case. As you saw, it's whoever wins the trick gets to move the golem of the color that was winning card. Questions?
Yeah. What means these walls and rocks and lakes? Yeah.
So the rocks here are impossible terrain. So the golem can never go to the rocks.
Yeah.
The fences are something that you can jump over if there are any black cards on that trick.
Just black.
Yes. Yeah. But if there are no black, you cannot cross the fences.
Yeah.
Similarly, the lakes you can cross if there are no black cards in
No black.
Yeah. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a difference based on if there are any wild cards. So it's not the question if it's the player who actually won the trick, but if anyone played any black or didn't play any black. That's the question. That can you cross the fences or the lakes?
Okay. Yeah. I just have seen the prototype, but this is new for me.
Yes.
Yeah. So cute.
Yes. Thank you. I thought that this would be like more for the style of the visuals that would apply on Verdun that we just saw a moment ago. All the graphics are actually original artworks from the First World War.
Yeah.
In here, well, this is a fantasy game which I tried to make colorful and nice and maybe cute.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, this is a rulebook and has versions like software.
Yes.
1.6. Yeah.
Yeah, it's our way of letting our players know that if there are errors, we are correcting those errors and providing a new rule. We are still even maintaining games that we did 15 years ago. If someone finds a typo or something, we will correct that, change the rule number, then you know if you have the latest.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And how can we buy this game on the internet?
All of our games are available from our own web store, ddpgames.com. The other alternative is that if you are a retailer, then direct sells also to and we are more than happy to find more retailers and partners for it.
Thank you.
Thank you
for coming and explain and have a nice day.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Here comes from Pika Games. Can you introduce yourself and your company?
Yes, so I'm Ian Everett. I'm the designer of A Wild Venture. I'm here with Pika Games. So this is A Wild Venture. It's an engine building card game for 2 players where you build up an engine and then you tear it down. And then you build another engine and then tear it down. Because for me, the fun part of engine building is actually building the engine. Okay, so the rules are very simple. On your turn, you just play, you have 2 choices of action, and you take 2 actions. You can either play a card or activate a card that you've already played. So very simple. To play a card, you just pay its cost by returning coins to the bank, and then you add supplies to the card from the bank equal to the number shown on the card. Simple. To activate a card, you have 2 choices. You can either activate one of your starter cards that each player starts with. These are like your basic actions. Or you can activate one of your villagers, which have more powerful and more interesting effects. So when you activate a villager, you take a supply off and return it to the supply. Once there are no supplies left on a card, it gets tucked underneath your scorecard.
Yeah.
Now, only cards in on your score pile are worth points at the end of the game. So everything you have in play, everything you have in your hand, is worth nothing.
Yeah.
So you want to build engines and tear them down as quickly as you can to get as many cards in here as you possibly can.
Yeah. This system is very interesting.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm obviously a little bit biased. So I find often in games like this, right, although the rules are quite simple, most of the actual game is what's written on the cards, right? So there's a huge variety of effects. Many of them are simple things like just get some money or draw some cards, but we have a lot more complex effects as well. Things like one of my favorite cards, the Great Winged Wanderer, he says, choose a species. Now there are 3 species in the game, crow, frog, and rabbit. And then you're going to look at the top 4 cards of the deck. So let's say, well, choose a species.
Bird?
Crow. Perfect. Good choice.
Yeah.
So then we're going to reveal the top 4 cards. Any that are crows, you'll draw. Any that are not, you'll trash into a shared discard pile.
Yeah.
For every card you trash, you're going to move your adventurer on this board over here.
Yeah.
So we trash 3 cards, we can move 3 spaces. So maybe we'll go 1, 2, 3. Now this board serves as a kind of safety valve for the game. Because in a lot of games like this, you're very restricted by the luck of the draw. The cards that you draw determine your strategy. But in a Wild Venture, you have a lot of control over the cards you draw, and you have a lot of ways to mitigate that randomness.
Yes.
So for example, if you're not drawing many cards that give you money, maybe you'll take an adventure over here and get money that way. Or if you're not drawing many cards, maybe you'll draw some cards over here. And all this is in service of scoring victory points. So at the end of the game, every card in your score pile, you're going to go through that pile and separate them into the 3 different species.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this was my score pile at the end of the game, then you're going to multiply whatever you have the most of by whatever you have the least of. So in this case, it would be 5 times 3 for 15 points. So you want to kind of spread out amongst the 3 species. So there's a lot of things that I haven't explained, but that's a basic overview of how to play a Wild Venture.
Yeah. It is.
Yes.
I love these.
Thank you.
So yeah.
So these, I didn't explain these, but they're very cool as well. So I've explained villagers, but there are 2 other types of card in the game. Gear cards give you a little bit of income, and both players are able to activate them. But the player that played it gets an extra powerful effect once it's finished. Building cards, they're the only type of card that stay with you for the whole game. And they give you passive effects, essentially supercharge your other things that you can do. These enchantment tokens, little ladybirds, you start with 1 and you can get a couple more from the adventure board. And when you use these, you put them on a building, and I like to put them there because it makes it look like the ladybirds telling you what to do. Right? And that makes your buildings even more powerful than they already are. So choosing when to use these and on which buildings can be a major part of your strategy.
I want to play this game. Yeah.
I would love to show you.
Thank you. Thank you for playing the game and show. And how can we buy this game?
So this is an Essen release, which is going straight to retail, no Kickstarter, no crowdfunding, anything like that. We have it in, I think, 10 languages, and if it's not available right now at your local shops, it should be very soon.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, and have a nice fair.
You too. Enjoy the rest of the con.
Here comes from Captain Games. Can you introduce yourself and your company?
Nice to meet you. I'm Gwen from Captain Games. We have released Duck and Cover, and now we are going to talk about Map Masters, our next release during the Essen Spiel.
Yeah.
Thanks to Board Life.
Oh, thank you for coming here. Yeah. And can you explain your game from the past? Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk about Masters. Map Masters. Yes. It's original because you can play either in competitive against each other or in cooperative all together.
Yeah.
So this is 2 games in 1 box.
Also, nice idea.
Yeah. So this is not a card game, it's a dungeon game. So in Map Masters, in the competitive game, every turn we will draw an objective. So for example, scrolls. We will have to build a dungeon. So as you can see, I can put my cards on a line, but I could also put them a line. And I can even put them upside down. And once you are done building your dungeon, you take your markers and you start drawing your way into the dungeon. So here you can see I entered from here. So I did enter, I get one key, one scrolls,
Yeah.
and I kept on going. And I kept on going and collecting things. But in the dungeon, you could meet some obstacles. The obstacles you could meet
Yeah.
are, for example, when you meet a lock, you should have a key before. When you meet a monster,
Yeah.
you should have a
Gold, yeah.
If you want to use magic circles that are teleportation,
Yeah.
you should use magic scrolls. And when you meet a lava pit,
Yeah.
it's not a pizza because it looks like a pizza. It's not a pizza,
Yeah.
it's lava, and lava is deadly.
Yeah.
You need a rope, and this is a yellow pit.
Yeah.
This brings you actually underground. So those are all the obstacles and all the things you can meet within the game. So you need
Yeah.
to think about all that before doing your way. So as you can see here,
Yeah.
I had no problem. But let's pretend instead of going that way,
Yeah.
I went up. I kept on entering from here. I went that way. Oh no, there's a monster.
Oh,
But on my way,
yeah.
I did not get any sword. Oh yes, I did get one.
Yeah.
So I cross the sword, I can
Ah.
cross the monster,
Yeah.
and I can keep on going that way. And then there's a lock.
Oh,
But I did get a key
Yeah,
before.
key.
So I can cross the key,
Yeah.
and I can cross the lock and
Oh.
exit the dungeon.
very good.
So that's how the competitive works.
Yeah.
Then you take your player board and do your scoring. As you can see, I encountered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 magic scrolls. So I rolled 5 in my player board.
Yeah.
Then we reveal a secondary objective. Random. It was rooms. Rooms have stone floors. So I entered 1, 2, and 3 rooms.
Yeah.
So I get 3 victory points. But at the end of the game, secondary are divided by 2. It's not like that blitz who wins. Then we have the question if there was a sun timer on the primary objective.
Yeah.
So like this. There was none, so it's okay. But when there is one, the first player to finish gets 1 victory point. And the last column asks, did you exit? I did exit, so I can do a check. But if I did not exit, I would have stopped here and I wouldn't have been able to check.
Okay.
But we have
Yeah.
a dungeon crawling puzzle game, but there are some deck building.
Yeah.
We all have the same 9 starting cards, very basic cards. But if we encounter some icons, like the recycling one or the scissor ones,
Yeah.
we can either keep cards or destroy cards. Once we are done with our path, we also collect the coins. So I would get 1, 2, 3 from the bank, and this will allow me to get better cards in the market. So that's what you do in the competitive game. In the competitive game, you are trying to optimize your dungeon, get as many things as possible, at the same as you're trying to get money, and you're also trying to build the best deck you can.
Yeah.
So this is how the competitive works. But as I told you, this is a game where you can play in competitive, but you could also play in cooperative. The cooperative game, we have some very bad guy like Jean-Michel. Meet Jean-Michel, the very bad goblin. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm always putting them upside down.
Yeah.
So Jean-Michel, the very bad goblin, needs to be killed. And we are playing as a team, and we have been hired as map masters to go kill him. How are we going to do that? I'm sorry, I just need to take one thing out. We are going to go into dungeons again. This is Jean-Michel dungeon. Jean-Michel is in the middle. To defeat Jean-Michel, you should have one adventurer that brings 5 golds to bribe the guard at the entrance. Another adventurer that comes with 1 rope. And then you also need another adventurer to come with 5 magic scrolls to try to make him nice again. Spoiler alert, it did not work, so you need to kill him with 5 swords.
Yeah.
So you have 4 groups, so 4 adventurers that are each going to accomplish one of those missions.
Okay.
They will each start from one different edge of the tableau. All the players together decide where they should enter the dungeon.
Yeah.
Because the blue rectangle are actually simple dungeon cards. And the player are actually going to fill the whole of this dungeon to help those adventurers reach Jean-Michel. The first thing they do is place the meeples at the entrance. Then they go to the market and buy maybe spells books or fairy token that might help them in the game. And then they pick 3 cards and start to complete the whole of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And once the path can be connected, they can draw. The mission can be only succeed if the 4 missions have been completed.
Yeah.
But it can be lose very easily in a very many different ways. So you pretty much know everything. But there is one big rule in Map Masters.
Yeah.
You can never cross your path in the competitive or in the cooperative, you can never cross your path. So you can never do something like this. This is completely forbidden. But you are completely allowed to enter like this, like this.
Yeah.
This is okay.
And another one, okay, right?
Yes, that one okay. Perfect. And in the cooperative, an adventurer cannot cross its own path, but it cannot cross the path of the other one either. So this is Map Masters.
Yeah.
Map Masters versus is more of an optimizing by yourself feeling, while the cooperative is much more puzzle solving altogether.
Yeah.
This is the same idea in the middle of you meet a lock, you need a key, you meet a monster, you need a sword, etc. But the two feelings are so different. You have two games in one box.
Yeah.
The competitive is played from 2 to 5, while the cooperative is played from 1 to 5, so you can even play solo. So this is Map Masters. If you're looking for a double experience, you have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now then, how many scenarios here?
So you have 0 to 13 scenarios. So you have 14 scenarios total. 13 is the hardest.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they are very different. In the scenario, you have some where you should first go destroy some crystal. There is some where you cannot put any cards here.
Yeah.
There is some with some cards that are moving, and you even have to go help some prisoners to escape.
Yeah.
And we have some funny character. I'll introduce you to Karen, a very angry lady that is terrifying in its dungeon. And we also have the Knight of Destruction, one of the biggest boss of the game. This is a very fun game, very easy to play, and you build your dungeon and you draw your map.
Yeah. So I like this board game and very good, right? Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And how can we buy this game on internet?
So for the moment, it's not in Korea yet.
Yeah.
No, it's not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Maybe one day, maybe.
Then
But
America and another world.
So it's being released next week. So depending on where you are, you can get it on the internet. I think. I hope so.
Awesome. Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you for coming and explaining the game. Yeah, and have a nice day.